Hello, friends. Thank you again for tuning in to Celebration of Authors. I am so excited because we have reached the point in the evening where I get to interview another special guest. Her name is Christina Anthony, and she has certainly been making a name for herself on stage and on the screen. She's known for her captivating charm, her vocals, and her improvisational skills. Christina Anthony is an up-and-coming force to be reckoned with and currently stars as Aunt Denise, or Aunt Dee Dee, on ABC's hit show Mixed-ish, which is a hilarious spin-off of Blackish from the creators of Kenya Barris and Tracy Ellis Ross. She's a multi-talented actress, writer, vocalist, improviser, coming to us from Chicago, and she's an alum of the Second City Chicago, where she co-wrote 3 award-nominated sketch reviews and performed in thousands of shows. Her previous credits include Key and Peele, Mashup, Bajillion Dollar Properties, Take My Wife, Bunked, Why Women Kill, ER, The Dilemma, and the list goes on and on. As a writer, her original comedy pilot was a finalist in the TBS and Refinery 29 Riot Comedy Writers Lab, and she frequently contributes to The Paper Machete, which is a live magazine here in Chicago. She currently performs stand-up in Los Angeles, and most importantly, she is also an emeritus company member with Playmakers Laboratory Theater. Welcome all the way from Los Angeles to Celebration of Authors, the one and only Christina Anthony. How are you?
Hey, I'm great, Brandon. Thanks everyone for having me. Congratulations on a great year. Happy Celebration of Authors.
Thank you. Celebration of Authors is one of my favorite events. I keep saying it. It's so wonderful because I think we get to bring all of our student authors together and support the work that we as Playmakers have done in CPS schools throughout the entire year. So thank you for joining us.
Oh, I'm so glad to be here.
And as you know, this is an extra special Celebration of Authors because with our stay-at-home and having to be home all the time order, we are doing it from our very own homes and doing it kind of virtually this year.
Yeah, I love a celebration, whether it's virtual or in person.
I want to get started on just diving into some questions to talk to you about your life with Playmakers and your career now, because you've done some fabulous work. So my first question for you is how did you get started in performing, and who were your biggest influences growing up?
Well, that's a great question. I want to say my first role was actually in Noah's Ark in kindergarten. I didn't have that great of a role. It was a smaller part. I was just one of the people who was like, I'm not getting on this ship. But from there, it really grew. I think a few years later, my church had another play. And I played a very rich woman who wore a hat. Again, not many lines, but really just firming up my belief that I belong in entertainment. I would say in high school, it was my high school drama teacher, Ms. Elaine. She really encouraged me and cast me in a couple productions in high school and really inspired me and said, you could really do this. This could be your life. This could be your career. And I kept that inspiration with me even when I went to college. But growing up, I loved watching. I realize now I didn't know what it was, but I liked comedy and sketch comedy so much. I love things like the Carol Burnett Show, and I loved You Can't Do That on Television, all kinds of shows. And so in Living Color, I probably wasn't supposed to be watching those things, but I enjoyed them, sneaking and watching them.
Oh man, I that's funny because I watched In Living Color with my family. We all together. Yeah, we have a very open, loving family. They were like, great, this is funny. Come watch it with us. So never too young. I love that you snuck to watch In Living Color.
Oh yeah, I can remember. Yeah, hiding behind the sofa because I would just have it on, but yeah. I would probably pretend to be in bed, and yeah. I can remember my mom being like, "Who left this on?" and just her trying to run back to bed really quickly so she wouldn't catch me.
Yeah. Can you tell us when you first joined Playmakers Lab, how you joined, and kind of what you learned from your time working with us here?
When I joined Playmakers Lab, I remember I auditioned for lots of different plays in Chicago and different theater companies, and everybody said no. And then I went to an audition. I think a friend of a friend told me about Playmakers Lab, that they were having an audition. And they said, you should go see this show called That's Where Grandma on Monday nights. And I said, that's such a strange name of a play. I don't know what this is. And so out of curiosity, I went to go see it and I loved it. I was like, this is sketch comedy. This is what I like to do. And so then after that, I went ahead and I went to the audition. It was so much fun. I can remember I've never, and maybe to this day, I've never had an audition where I had so much fun. We got different assignments and things we were supposed to work on to help make a play right there, 2 to 3 minutes of sketch. And I just remember thinking, even if I don't ever see these people again and I don't get this job, I really like this. This was a lot of fun. And I think that having that great experience for an audition is just something that doesn't come around very often, where you think I'm just having a really good time. And I felt good when I left. They didn't make me feel like I was a bad actor. I actually didn't go to school for acting, so I felt very insecure at times, but they made me feel good. And when I left, I felt very successful. I felt like I had done a great job, but also more importantly, I felt like I had a great time.
Yeah.
And then I found out I got in, and it was after that, it was just great. I have lifelong friends from the Playmakers Lab, and it's helped me in my work today. I learned how to take other people's work that I didn't write. I took other people's writings and other people's jokes, and I learned how to tell them and act them out through working at Playmakers Lab, which is what my job is now, today on Mixed-ish.
I love that. I had that same experience. I was actually really terrified that I wasn't going to make it into Playmakers Lab, just because everyone around me was so talented. And I was like, ooh, do I belong here? And then when I got that call, it was just such utter joy. And I as the artistic director, have tried to keep our auditions in that same mode of like really playful, really fun, really supportive, so that, people are excited and engaged with our work.
Yes. And I think it's really important too. From that audition, I learned it's okay to be yourself. It's okay to be, if you're different, be different. If you're a little weird, go ahead and be a little weird. Those things are what makes Playmakers Lab, when we come to schools to work with students, I think that's what makes it such a great experience, and why we fit in with the students, because they know too, hey, I'm a little bit weird, and look at these little bit weird people coming to help me learn how to read and write. And I think if we all embrace our weirdness more, that will become normal.
I love it. So when you joined, we were actually called Barrel of Monkeys, but we recently changed our name. I remember you wrote out in support to that. What do you think of our new name?
I love it. I mean, you know what? I learned a phrase, Brandon, call a thing a thing. And that's where you name the thing what it's going to be, and you don't play around. I love it. Playmakers Lab, I don't have to wonder, what do you guys do? I know that you guys are a place where people make plays, and you're very serious about it because it's a laboratory. It's not called Playmakers Playground. It's called laboratory, and everybody knows serious things happen in a laboratory. So I like that very serious people are taking their very serious job of making very funny plays very seriously.
Aw, thank you. Well, thank you also for your support. I think it was very meaningful that during this time of change, we had so much support from our Emeritus company members who helped, get the work started that we're continuing. So
Oh, yes. Yes. And names are important, right? I don't want anybody ever to call me something that isn't my name. I like for people to know I'm Christina Anthony. I don't answer to Christine. I don't answer to Chrissy. It's Christina. So I think having a name that really says what you do, Playmakers Laboratory, is a great thing.
Yeah, thank you. Something else that I thought was really cool is that you were not just a performer with Playmakers Lab, but you were also a teaching artist. And even when you were, busy doing shows at Second City, you still made time for the educational components of our work. Can you talk a little bit to why it was so important to you to be involved in the classroom and share maybe a memory or two from your time in the class?
Oh, yeah. I love my time in the classroom. I will say, if you ever have an opportunity, if you're an artist and you're watching this, or maybe even you're a student thinking about becoming an artist, I think learning how to teach the thing you want to be able to do is the best way to get really, really good at it. So I enjoy telling jokes. I love acting. I love working on the show. But being able to teach people how to write a joke or how to write a play, that means I really, really know my job really well, and it makes me better at it. So being a teaching artist actually, I think, is what kind of put me over the top when it came to wanting to know more about my craft and about how to write jokes and how to write dialogue, how to build strong characters. I loved my time in the classroom. It was fun. One of my favorite times is a game we would play when we would come to schools, and we would play a game where you had to pretend like the floor had peanut butter on it. And I just remember like loving to play this game so much. And as I would be playing the game, every class I ever taught, I always did this game. And then another time I went to a school and I came ready wearing my Playmakers Lab outfit. I was ready to work with the students. And as soon as I pulled up to the school, this woman, the teacher stopped me, a principal stopped me, and she was like, "Aren't you Barrel of Monkeys' lawyer?" This was when it was called Barrel of Monkeys. And I thought, no, I'm the woman that plays the game with the peanut butter on the floor. Where are the students? Why can't anybody vouch for me? And the kids just let her walk by and would not let me in the classroom until I explained who I was. I like that they knew I was somebody that was there to help, but no, I was not a lawyer. I was the teacher for Playmakers.
I love it. Someone important, law.
Yeah, but obviously I was more proud of my peanut butter game. Being a lawyer, though, is important.
Yes.
It's a great job. But the peanut butter game it's a better job.
Yeah. Well, we help the lawyers, the up and coming lawyers, by playing the peanut butter game so that they know how to act in the courtroom, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's all hand in hand. Do you have a favorite story that you remember adapting or working on?
Oh, there's so many. I love so many of them. I will say, I was just talking to someone about this the other day. One of my favorite stories was Super House Cleaning Woman, because it's a game, a story prompt where you have to make up a superhero, and people had great superheroes, like people who could fly and people who could like save cats out of trees. They could breathe fire. But this woman, I loved her so much because she just was able to clean a house in 5 minutes. And her outfit was, her special gloves were cleaning gloves, like for washing the dishes. And she had a dish towel tied on her back. That was her cape. And I just remember, like, when I was playing that character, I'm like, this is what we need. That's great if you can breathe ice. It's great if you can shoot fire from your hands. But sometimes you need a clean house. And this woman is a hero.
That's right.
Super House Cleaning Woman, one of the best stories ever. I also love the story of the Women Rampage, about women who've had enough and they take over their town.
Yeah, I actually, what struck me about that story, why I like that story so much, is the student I remember who wrote it based it off of a picture. And when they were looking at the picture, it was like an old colonial style photo of like a bunch of men in the room with food. And the teaching artist went over and said, hey, because the kid was struggling and, I don't know what to write. So the teaching artist asked, hey, well, what do you notice in the picture? And what the student noticed, what he noticed was that there were no women in the picture. And so from there, he jumped off and was like, oh yeah, where are the women? What if they got into that room? And so then it turns into this epic, Les Mis style ballad of the women rampage and women seizing their moment and fighting for equal rights.
Right on. It's always a good time for a women rampage. And the people need to rampage.
Yes. We're having some rampaging right now.
Yes.
I probably should have asked you this at the top because you're looking so fabulous. What are you wearing today?
Oh, I live by the lifestyle of fancy schmancy, which I believe is very fancy on the top, pajamas on the bottom. Today I am wearing this flowered headpiece. This is the fanciest thing I own. I got married in it.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. There's life after 40, Brandon.
That's right. I'm almost there, so.
Oh, it gets great. Don't worry.
I can't wait. So you're working on a fabulous TV show, Mixed-ish. I have to say, personally, I love it because for the first time probably ever in TV on a regular basis, feel represented myself. So thank you for making that show. What's it like working with Mixed Dish? I know it's a huge franchise that feels very supportive and almost like a family. I want to hear from you what it's like.
Oh, it's just wonderful. It's been an amazing experience to be embraced. Like you said, it's a franchise. It's a spinoff of Blackish, created by Kenya Barris. And it joins Grownish, which is the college tales of Zoe, the oldest daughter. This is about Rainbow, character played by Tracy Ellis Ross. It's a spin backwards. It's a prequel of how she grew up in the 80s. And so it's about being 14 years old and just trying to figure out your life when you feel different. Her mom is Black and her dad is white, and she feels like she can't choose. She feels stuck in the middle. And then more than anything, like being 13, 14, 15 is also really hard. She's also the oldest of three siblings, and I play her aunt. And yeah, Aunt Dee, Aunt Denise. And it's been really great. I'm also an aunt in real life. And so when you are an actor, sometimes you don't play things close to who you are, but this one I am. I have three nieces, and Aunt Dee also loves to wear wigs. And hey, so do I. I love to wear a good wig. And also Aunt Dee is really proud to be a Black woman, and she doesn't stay in the corner. She's not quiet about it. She's very proud of who she is. And so she wants Rainbow. She sees that because Rainbow has a Black mom, that she also has Blackness in her. And so Aunt Dee tries to encourage her and not make her feel bad for being Black. She never wants her to be ashamed. And so it's such an honor every week to just, basically my job is just to pump them up every week and tell them how wonderful they are, how wonderful it is to be Black, that it's cool, that it's wonderful, that it's radical. And those opportunities don't always come along for Black actors. So it's just an amazing opportunity. The show is created by Kenya Barris and Tracy Ellis Ross and Peter Saji. And it's a personal for all of them because they have their own experience as mixed race children. And so it's really been a wonderful ride, and I can't wait. We just found out we're coming back for season 2. So I hope that you will watch us on ABC.
I will. I'll be there every week. Something that I think is really incredible, and I think the reason why I relate to Aunt Dee is because a lot of what she says were things that my father said to me. So she resonates in that way. But the other thing that I think is funny about Aunt Dee is that, and maybe it's just because I know you, that she feels very close to you. I feel like some of the things that she says were things that you might have said in a joke offhand backstage. And so what I'm wondering is, how much improv do you get to do? Are you writing your own jokes, or are you just mega talented actress who can sell it? You have to be doing both, right?
Ooh, it's such a mystery. Well, I will say this, 99% of it is already there. It's the easiest job in the world. They tell you everything to say.
Yeah.
They put your makeup on you. They say, here's your wig for this week. They iron your clothes. It's all there. And then they just hand you the script and you just say what you want. Now, I will say at the end of the scene, it's called an out, is what you call it. It's the last line. Sometimes, most times, I will throw a little something in there myself and say a one-liner. And that makes it on the show sometimes.
I knew it.
Yeah. So you got to watch. So you got to watch the whole show, but you got to watch the end of the scene when Auntie is leaving. That's usually me.
I'm gonna go back and now rewatch the whole series and then like check in with you and be like, you wrote this joke, right?
Yeah, but we have, and maybe this is something people don't know too. Mixage, it takes about 250 people to make one episode. Acting is the smallest part of the sections of people who work on the show. That's the smallest department. There's only 7 of us. But writers, there's about 12 writers, and they have a head writer and they have a showrunner, and they write the jokes for you.
Yeah.
And then you say the jokes, and if they don't like them, they change them for you until it's funny.
I love that. Christina, you've always been really great at, and I feel like this is maybe a quote from you, at passing down the rope. So like even just now when I, talked about how great of a star you are, you gave credit to the writers and the 250 people who are supporting the show. I just think it's incredible that you're able to, when you have a door open or an opportunity open, you leave the door open for other people and you include them. What else are you doing in your life to provide room and open the door for young artists, especially young artists of color?
Oh, well, one, thank you for saying that. I think it's so important because I think I'm in the role I'm in because someone left the door open for me, you know, and not maybe me specifically because this is a brand new show, but if you watch TV, especially if you watch network television, you don't see many Black women leading shows. So it's very important that you can't, the phrase is what you cannot be, what you cannot see. And so my goal is to do a very good job on whatever job I have at the current time so that other people can see that job and you can see that you could have it too, if that's something you aspire to do. Another thing, I think still teaching is very important. Up until I got on Mixed, I had to take a break this year. I still was coaching students and helping people with their auditions and with their writing and helping people reading people's plays and scripts. And that's something I'm still doing now, is reading scripts for other people and giving notes and helping them make it better so they can hopefully get their first job or get their next job. And then another thing that I'm really excited, it's still like very in its infant stages though, is just making sure that more Black students and more students of color find out about how to do comedy and how to do improv and how to write sketch. When I was little, I kind of knew about stand-up. Like I knew about people like Eddie Murphy, but I didn't really understand exactly what sketch was. So I knew I liked those shows, but I just want more people to know about it and how to do it. And so Playmakers was a great place for me to learn more about how to do sketch, and the Second City was a great place. And so I'm working to make sure we have more educational places where people can go to find out how to do sketch comedy and how to do improv.
Ah, I love that. I love that. I think that's so important.
Oh, thanks.
So I also know that you can sing. So is season 2, do we get a musical version of Mixed-ish?
I mean, I'm backing them. So some people in Mixed just sing and some people don't.
Sure.
So I'm sure, I bet it's in the works. I'm gonna have my fingers crossed. I sang a little bit in season 1. I think Aunt Denise was under the weather. Maybe she had pneumonia or something.
Yep.
Get too much cough syrup, so she had some singing in there. But yeah, I'm pushing. Maybe I'll write a musical episode of Mixed-ish and pitch it and ask them to do it.
I can't wait for it. That's all my questions. You have been such a fabulous guest tonight.
Oh, thanks for having me. I didn't know how I would get to be a part of Celebration of Authors, and look at this.
Now you are. Sometimes all we need is a pandemic to make it happen.
That's all we need. That's all we need.
But you'll hopefully be joining us next year, hopefully in person, when we can have our gala 2021.
2021.
So, cool.
I can't wait.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight, Christina. You are such a joy, and I wish you the best.
Oh, thank you, Brandon, and thanks for everything that you're doing for Playmakers Laboratory. And I wish you a great, great Celebration of Authors.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.